I am very passionate about company culture. I'm very passionate about small business, technology, and more important is our local economy. A little quick background on myself and LocalWork.com. I moved to Arizona about 5 years ago after graduating from college, really with a passion about entrepreneurship. And although my final career destination that I'm going to try and get to in my lifetime will focus around strategic relationships, consulting, and coaching, because I love the power that you have to consult with individuals. But I wanted to get out there and actually create something that had purpose. What's interesting is I'm not alone. As a millennial, I find that that's what our generation's made up of. We're finding a lot of personality traits that are in the Gen Xers that are following even stronger in the millennial generation. The Gen Xers have been described as extremely loyal. Their individuals are staying with organizations for a long time, and they're passing a lot of traits down to their kids, the millennials, all around purpose and finding a value system that makes sense. And so what I'm going to go through with you is show you what are some key traits that not only millennials show, which will be 50% of the workforce by the end of 2015. That's not staggering enough. But how you can implement this process into your entire organization. So, I want to ask you guys a question. What's the most important thing to you? Think of yourself as if you were looking for a job, or maybe you recently were looking for a job. Maybe you are. What is the most important aspect to you when deciding to accept a job offer? What is it? Does anybody have? What's the most important to you? Is it the job title? Am I really looking to be called a director? What is it?
Meaningful work.
Meaningful work, right? And that would apply plain to culture, right, in the organization. We did this survey with over 3,000 job seekers. We worked with LinkedIn to go out there and interview people ready to accept job offers. I said, what's most important to you? This was across all generations. The number one result was company culture. If we break that down even further, a highest percentage of demographic that answered company culture was millennial generation. And interestingly enough, is I was recently presenting at the Better Business Bureau at one of their events, specifically with their accredited business owners. And I asked this question, didn't show them the results. I said, if you're in their shoes, you're interviewing them, you're ready to give them a job offer, what's the most important thing going through their mind right now? You're ready to give them an offer, what's the most important thing they're thinking of? What do you think they all said? Compensation. Probably over 80% in the room raised their hand and said, all they want is to get my money. They're just trying to get a big paycheck. That's the whole reason they're interviewing with me. They're trying to get in here is the compensation. Can you guys see the disconnect there? Wall Street Journal just produced an article last week with a research group that they were working with that came out and said 64% of millennials would rather earn $40,000 a year, over $100,000 a year, just to be in a job that they love. Wow.
It's not just millennials.
Yeah, right. Right, their focus group was millennials. But as you're starting to see, culture and purpose is more important to the workforce than compensation. And so, as an organization, as we look at what are our true costs of our organization, one of the highest costs in any organization is the people. But not only the people, but the turnover of the people, right? What does it cost to a company to lose an employee? Right? If you make the wrong hire, studies are showing that that's 300% their earnings is what your true cost is to the employer. The time to get them on board, the interview process, the compensation when you paid for them, maybe the unemployment package, the list goes on and on and on, and what their negative impact was while they were in the company, the lost opportunity. Holy cow, that's staggering. Now, we look at this, and for me, company culture, there's a science to culture, and then there's an art. What is the science to company culture? Any ideas, any guesses? Because that's what the CFO wants to know, right? He wants to know what's the science. It's the numbers, it's the math, it's the things that Eric talked about, statistics of 300% higher chance of innovation if you focus on the people and you have great culture. The art, on the other hand, is what is that heartwarming component to the organization? Is this great company culture? Some would argue, absolutely. Right? I mean, would you give up a $100,000 job to be in a fun job like this with Michael Scott? I probably would, but not most. So we have to understand, what does the office place look like for company culture? Even if there's hard decisions to be made, people understand that, but they're being led with purpose. So as Eric talked about what culture is, we believe it is in the shared beliefs, values, and practices. Now I purposely put this back in the presentation. Eric mentioned it earlier because this is the core to company culture. I meet with business owners on a continual basis. They say, we have great company culture. I say, why? Because we have free food Friday. Oh, okay, there it is. I'll give up that $100,000 job to get a free lunch on Fridays. No, that's a perk, right? That's not great company culture. Culture starts with shared values and beliefs. But those beliefs have to be followed through. Great example of great company culture. Recently did a tour. You guys know Brad Janinga, his story with WebPT. It's an organization downtown Phoenix, and they focus on software, their SaaS model, to work with independent physical therapists. They, as he would say it, have an organic culture. It's not forced. It's not driven with free lunch Fridays. It's not driven around big, elaborate perks in an office place. This is where they work. They have wood paneling to separate office space. They have a wild pig. I mean, that's their culture. It's organic. It's who they are. It's their personality trait, right? But it's all focused around their core values. Read through a couple of these, and you will love them. You'll fall in love with this company, and you don't even know who they are yet. Because not only do they show their core values, but they live by them. They live by their core values. My favorite is attitude, because that's true grit. I just think that's extremely creative. But they probably, the accountability, to be a little careful on their material they pass around, but they truly believe this. They truly believe this. Christina, where are you? Can you explain to us this lovely photo?
Yes. That's a golden plunger, but it's been passed around a lot, so some of the gold paint is actually wearing off, I noticed when I took a photo. But anytime you F something up at work, you ask, either the plunger gets given to you or you get it and put it on your desk, and you know that you're owning up to something and that everybody's recognizing it. And you know, Emily in this case, I don't know what she did, but her team actually had the golden plunger because of something, maybe they unintentionally dropped the ball on something and they're learning from it and they're recognizing it and getting better. So that's like every day. I've had it before and
it happens, right?
Yeah.
This is what I love about their organization. Talk about driving culture. Everyone is going to mess up in their job. Go ahead and raise your hand if you've never messed up on your job. Don't be shy. No, we all mess up, right? But they do a good job to say, hey, we hold each other accountable. That is a core value. And not only are you going to be held accountable, we're going to help you become accountable, and you're going to hold me accountable. There's a two-way relationship here. And so they say, if you mess up, which everyone does, you just get to show everyone. And you get a plunger on your desk until somebody else messes up. And you just pray somebody else messes up, to be honest, right? Because you walk in every morning and that's on your desk, the golden plunger. Phenomenal. Because it's all focused around one thing. There's a two-way commitment here. Inside an organization, people want to know there is trust. They want to know that when you're preaching something, you're also living by the same standards. Nothing is stronger than having trust in your organization. You can go out and define your core values today after you leave, which I highly encourage you to do if you haven't done. But nothing will happen, nothing will change until you practice it. Because when you're practicing your core values, you are hiring, training, and firing to your core values. That drives trust. Great example. Who knows who this is? The new CEO of General Motors. How long has she been in her job? A couple months, right? January, middle of January, she's the new CEO of General Motors. All of a sudden, all these reports are coming out about these switches that have to do with safety on the airbags are not working. They go in and do an internal audit and they find out that, oops, we did know about that and we chose to do nothing. So she had to make a hard choice, a very public situation. She had to fire 15 people over the switches being wrong. But what I love about this, those 15 people, they're executives. Those are not factory floor workers that were installing them. They're making minimum wage, maybe part of the union. No, these are executives that are in the office next to her. What does that do to an organization that says, we talk and we live by our company culture? So we're going to talk about trust because to me, that is the foundational point to company culture. If there's one thing you're going to learn after today, it's the power of having trust inside your organization. So we want to talk about integrity. You have to live your office place, you have to live your values, you have to live the way you interact with not only your employees but your customers with the deepest sense of honesty that you could imagine. But it needs to be public. You can't do backroom deals because everything's transparent. With social media, people are going to find out everything. Leadership needs to know they have to focus on integrity. They have to have the right intent with it. If you're saying a lot of things, you're saying the right things, but you don't do it for the right purpose, you're really focused on profits when you tell everyone you're doing it for human kindness and who you are. But at the end of the day, you're just trying to drive your shareholder value up. That's not going to build trust, right? That's going to be a disconnect. You have to also show a genuine concern for others inside your workplace. Millennials have a deep loyalty to coworkers. If you go in and start reading some psychology around the millennial generation, is they value their employer not by how they are treated, but how we are treated. And so if you don't have this genuine concern for others inside your organization or customers, you will not keep the A players in your organization. And now we're back to the science of company culture, the cost. Because now you're replacing an A player. Capable. You have to build trust, you have to show that you guys have the capabilities to drive performance. Nothing will disconnect when you're setting standards on somebody, but you're not giving them the results, or maybe they're unachievable. You're not giving them the tool set to grow and work together. You have to deliver the capabilities. I would put into this the training. You have to show your commitment to educate and the training behind it. And then the fourth thing is results. as an organization, if you want true trust, you have to have a track record. And sometimes as a startup company like myself, you might not have all the results under your belt. But what do? You celebrate the wins. Even if it's a little win, you celebrate the win. And you're transparent about it. One of my favorite quotes from the son of Stephen Covey, Stephen and Mark Covey: the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Company culture is that way. You have to work on it. It's a continual process. And some companies may look at the end of the year and say, what did we do wrong? Look at all these great people that have left our organization. Or why can't we get the right people? Oh, you've never started? Trust. Trust is such a key component to driving company culture. And so if you were to look at it as a domino effect, the outcome is great performance, higher profits. If you were to come back a level, you're going to talk about what drives that? Great company culture. What drives great company culture? Core values. It's going to say we have a purpose-based organization that has values. But the top level, where it starts, is trust. If those four components of trust are not influencing your core values, you won't get the outcome at the end. So to end this, I'm going to have Eric come up here, and we're going to talk about a couple of things. But as I wrap up, every organization that has a double bottom line has been recruiting a tremendous more qualified A players to their organization than those that don't. How many in here know what that means, a double bottom line? Is that kind of a fresh term? Double bottom line is, as an organization, our bottom line is our profits. After all expenses, after everything, what is our take-home profit? A double bottom line is, what's the purpose behind the profit? What good are we doing today and tomorrow for having built that profit? And as you continue out in your organization, I don't care if you work at a tire store, I don't care if you run a job board, I don't care whatever organization you're in, purpose matters. And purpose will be the thing that drives in great talent, but it will be the difference maker to retaining the best talent in your organization. So remember that, a double bottom line will make a difference. And I know every organization can find what is our true value, what is our purpose behind what we're doing. Thank you very much.